Hello again and welcome back. Today we're discussing free will again and determinism. I know I have talked quite a lot about it in the past and I have even a whole playlist about it, but as much as you keep thinking about the topic, arguments start popping up. Now, this video is gonna be a bit analytical with a flavor of formal logic involved, so keep attention. Let's say for example that we have a person A and a person B, which are introduced to a resembling situation which gives them the option of either choosing apple or banana. So we have person A plus situation, which includes either choosing an apple or a banana, plus presumably free will. At the same time, we have person B plus situation plus free will. Now, if free will is a property of those individuals, we could definitely agree that this property of the individual A is the same property of the individual B. This free will property is identical in the scenario of the person A and in the scenario of person B. But as we perceive in the world, we give people resembling situations, but they lead to different outcomes. So we have person A right now plus situation plus free will equal banana, and we have person B plus situation plus free will equal apple. How could this be the case? If free will is the same identical resembling property in both person B and person A, by the law of identity they must lead to the same outcomes, but they don't do that. How could it be possible? By the principle of identity, they must have led to the same outcome, but they didn't. This only shows that there must be something different in both scenario 1 and scenario 2. But as we have just seen and demonstrated, nothing is actually different. We have person A and person B. They're just people. And they have the same identical property, free will here and free will here. And they are presented with the same situation, either choosing apple over a banana, but they keep getting different results. This only means that there must be something different between the two systems that we cannot see, something hidden, something subtle. Now, to solve this problem and to investigate what is the factor that led us to have different results in same resembling systems, we need to introduce a variable. Let's call it D. Now, if we just put this variable D in the system 1 and put it again in the system 2, it wouldn't solve anything. D must necessarily be different, because if we have just added, it would still give us the same exact result, and we wouldn't know what actually caused this different outcome every time. So D must be different in both the systems. So let's just call it D1 in the system or the scenario 1 and D2 in the scenario 2. And as you might already have noticed, D1 and D2 cannot be free will because we have already included them, and just adding another variable of free will doesn't solve the problem. We need something else rather than free will, a new different variable. Now, as we have seen before, all the factors introduced gave us different result, but they are the same. We have just person A here and person B here, and we have the same situation and we have the same identical property, which is free will, and they give us a different type of results every time. So it wouldn't be the case that this situation is different because basically we perceive that the situation is the same every time, and it wouldn't be the case that free will is different because it's the same identical property in both case scenarios, and we have just person A and person B. Okay, so it must be the case that variable D, D1 and D2 are different necessarily to solve this problem, and D goes for difference. The factors we have used before didn't contribute anything into solving this problem, except when we used the variable D for difference. It must be different necessarily in scenario 1 and different in scenario 2. They cannot resemble, because if they resembled again, they would lead us to the same conclusion, to the same results. They must necessarily not resemble. So now that we have established that the factors we used before are useless in giving us different results, we can only say that if I add every factor, if I take every factor, whether it's a person or situation or free will, and add it to D1 or D2, it wouldn't have the potential of giving us the result, because banana here and apple become contingent on the existence of this variable D for difference. So we could only right now agree that free will plus difference 1 equal banana, free will plus difference 2 equal apple. We can even take free will out and we wouldn't need free will, because free will equals 0. And it's not the determinist factor of the difference. It just stands there uselessly. If we take out the difference 1 and difference 2 from the equation, we'll run again to the same problem. So the existence of difference 1 and difference 2 in this logical table is necessary to solve the problem of where this difference or from where this different result comes from. As you have noticed, we cannot have free will plus difference. It is either the result is based on difference 1 or free will. And since we have seen that free will is actually useless in solving this problem, it can only stand on difference 1 in the case of apple, and it can only stand for difference 2 in the case of banana in system or scenario 2. So if I asked you and you were being honest, and I told you if you could take something out from this logical form, what would you take out without compromising the validity or compromising the truthfulness of each of the systems? Would you take the person A and would you take the person B? A person is necessary in order to choose. Would you take the situation? No, the situation is necessary. If we didn't have the situation, we wouldn't be here. And would you take the difference? We have already shown that the difference is the major foundation of the result, so we cannot take that. You would only take free will out because it's the only useless factor in there. Whether you take it out, nothing changes. So now that we have reached here, we can safely make that into a syllogism with premises and conclusion. So premise 1, if two agents have identical free will, they must choose identically. Premise 2, two agents with identical free will can choose differently. Conclusion 1, therefore, something other than free will determines the difference in choice. Premise 3, whatever determines the difference is definitely not free will. Conclusion 2, therefore the choice is determined by non-free causes, which equal determinism. Therefore determinism is true. Okay, at this moment you would ask, what is the difference? Well, those differences could be a lot of things. It could be a difference in terms of experience of either the person A and the person B. They can just have different life experiences which give them different memories that shape and form the database that they use in terms of choosing, or some predisposition, pre-psychological disposition, preference of taste, as I have said in other videos. Some people just love the taste of bananas over apples. Now, have they choose to have this preference of taste? They definitely didn't. Difference 1 and difference 2 could just be biological factors, different mental states, different biochemistry, and all. Something that we cannot choose. Therefore, determinism is true. That's it. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.